if I had $100 for every time somebody trying to blame me for their piece of shit, I will be retired by now. They driving clunkers, they're driving piece of shit, and I go out of my way to tell people, hey, get rid of this car as soon as you can, because it's just gonna nickel and dime you to death. They're not gonna tell you that at shops. They're not going to tell you that. They're just going to keep it. Yeah, sure, we'll fix it. Sure, bring it back. We'll keep it. Well, I just put. Look, if you have a clunker, you got to understand. The car has about 30,000 parts, and just because you replaced a water pump, a timing belt, the crankshaft and camshaft seals, and the tensioner and all this shit, doesn't mean that your alternator's not going to go out, that your starter's not going to go out, that your engine's not going to blow up. Case in point, I have this young woman, and I feel for her. She's got 3 kids and stuff, and single mother and whatnot. Hey, life, that's. But I told her, it's an old 200,000-mile Honda with that 3.5, and she calls me top. It sounded like it was the top noise on the engine, but then I took one of the timing covers off, and I saw how much that timing belt was about to break. So then, what happened is those tensioners, they collapse, they malfunction, and they start to, and it sounds like it's an engine, but it's not. So I told her, it's like, hey, you got to do timing belt, and it's got almost 200,000. So I don't know if they've ever done the camshaft seals or the crankshaft seals. So you got to do that, because if you don't, you get in there, you don't do that, and you replace the timing belt and the tensioner, timing belt tensioner, and the water pump and the timing belt idler and everything, and those crankshaft and camshaft seals start leaking, you have to do it again. So I told her, hey, you got to replace that, So okay. So I did all that and put everything together, running perfect. So, the noise is gone. So about a week later, she calls me, the timing, not the timing, the serpentine, she said, hey, the steering got real hard and stuff like that. And then she left the car at a parking lot, and they towed it, and it's just one thing after the other. Now, mind you, I had told her when I first, met her, hey, this car, it's coming. A bunch of shit is about to fall apart. I could just see the bunch of the maintenance, hasn't been up to date. It's got electrical issues and a whole bunch of shit. Try to get rid of it. Oh, yeah, sure. When your mechanic tells you, try to get rid of your car, listen to your mechanic. Okay? When your doctor tells you there's something wrong with your blood work, go see the specialist or back to your doctor. Don't just ignore it. This is what we do for a living, man. We're telling you, shit's coming. And just because you replace one system from the car, it doesn't matter. You can put $5,000 in a transmission, and next day the car blows up the engine. You can't blame your mechanic for that. They're different systems. Okay? So when your mechanic, they're telling you, oh, they're just trying to sell me shit. I actually tell people, get rid of this piece of shit. You're just going to keep dumping money into a piece of shit. Pay attention. So I come check this out. The timing belt's fine. Everything's fine. And of course, they drain the battery because the alternator's not charging, because the serpentine belt is not moving the alternator to charge the battery. So now she gets cute and starts trying to, blame me. Oh, I thought I paid you to fix that. It's like, no, that's not what happened. So mind you, it's at night, 7:30 at night. I've been working, going all day long, and then, busting my ass for I don't know how long, the last 3 days, going hard. So I go, and now, mind you, I explained to her all the process that has to be done because the bolt broke inside the bracket. Okay, this is a common occurrence in this piece of shit cars, in the fucking Hondas. This Honda 3.5s, the Odysseys, they break that bolt because that's a bad design on that tensioner. It's not like the Toyota tensioners that have that little shock absorber in them. This is a piece of shit design to begin with. They even had to do a special bulletin to address this issue with these cars. So she's just going, constantly, trying to blame me for it, texting back and forth because she's at work or something like that and she can't talk. So, and I'm explaining to her, she's like, well, she's like, oh, that was what I paid for. Now, mind you, this person doesn't know shit about cars. Now she's decided that she's the expert. Don't do that to your mechanic, because that's why your mechanic drops you and don't want to work with you anymore, because you're blaming them for your piece of shit car. Don't do that. Those are things. If all of a sudden you start blaming your mechanic for shit, your mechanic's not going to want to, fix shit for you anymore, because you're blaming them for shit that's got nothing to do with what they did. And I explained to them, and this car is from up north. It's got rust and everything, so the bolts and everything, all this shit starts rusting and shit, and all the parts that move and shit, they start, rusting, and a car that's from up north with rust falls apart. Bolts break and all kinds of shit. Ground corrode, everything. It's a nightmare, an electrical nightmares. Cars that come from up north. That's why people don't want to touch them. Don't want to buy them after they've been up north. So you start trying to tell she gets cute and starts telling me, oh, thank you for confirming what I thought was wrong with it. Now she decides that I lied to her and I scammed her. See, everything that you're telling your mechanic, you're accusing your mechanic of scamming you. And your mechanic is, you don't do that. Don't do that to mechanics. Do not accuse people of doing shit that they didn't do when they're actually trying. Here I am running around trying to solve her problem. I was going to, now, mind you, I explained the process to her. Say, hey, I have to take out the compressor, the AC compressor, the alternator. Then I have to take out the bracket bolts. Then I have to take that entire bracket where the thing, that entire bracket where the thing, the tensioner bolts onto. You have to drill that bolt that's broken, that piece of bolt that's broken, because it won't come out. Okay? That piece of bolt that's broken in there, and all that rusty crap that's back there, to drill it out. Then once I drill it out, I have to make sure the bolt fits. Then put all that shit back together. The bracket to the to the block, then the compressor to the bracket, then the alternator to the bracket, then it's a long ass procedure. Alright? I'm gonna charge you like $250. Mail. So they're going to charge you like $250 for the whole thing. Plus whatever part. And I even
You've got mail.
I even went as far as, as telling her, but she just kept pushing. And then she's like, oh, that's fine. Go ahead and do it. After I gave her, you got to be careful with people, because they'll tell you that's fine. And if they think that that's your fault. So you have to be very specific with them. It's like, hey, if I do the job tonight, I have to get paid tonight. Okay? So, it's like, oh, I don't get paid until the middle of the month. Now the truth comes out. She gave me the go ahead to do the job, and then without having the money. So she was going to burn me because she was under the impression that I did something wrong. And I had to explain it to her 3 different times, running around. See? So what's going to happen is when she calls me back, if she does call me back, I'm not going to answer. I'm not going to take the job, because when you do that to a mechanic, to a professional, and you start suggesting that they're burning you, or they don't know what they're doing, or they took you for it, that you suggest that they took your money. You see what I'm saying? You start accusing them of being crooks. They don't want to do business, and rightfully so. I don't want to do business with people who think I just screwed them over when I didn't. I went all the fuck the way out, 50 miles, extra miles. Not 1 mile, 50 extra miles to take care of these people. At night, I don't care, I'll work till whatever. And I went and checked and did the whole procedure. Don't blame the mechanic for your piece of shit car. Do not blame mechanics for your clunkers. Don't do it. Because we don't have to take the emotional abuse or the whatever, the psychological abuse, whatever you want to call it. I don't have to take disrespect. I already go through enough shit trying to fix cars. Been doing it for almost 30 years. Okay? This is not easy. This is a hard fucking job. It takes balls to do this shit, and knowledge and experience and education, and you have to know what you're doing. Not everybody can do it. That's the thing. People think, no, it's because I know I read a term. Here's the kicker. Well, I worked at a dealership for 6 months. And your point, I've fixed more dealership horrors and catastrophes that I can fucking remember, because they think that they're that they work at a deal. They think that because they work at a dealership, they're God or something. The dealerships, they just got better equipment. That's it. And they have better liars at that they're called service advisors. They just steal from people. They suggest and they steal. They suggest a bunch of shit you don't need. They sell thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of shit you don't need. Okay? So before you go out there and try to, blame your mechanic for your piece of shit vehicle, think twice. Don't do it. Don't do that. People say, oh, mechanics are a bunch of crooks. No, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. We're hard-working motherfuckers out here. We work hard, man. We earn every penny. So you guys make a lot of money. Sometimes you make good money. Sometimes you got to eat it. Sometimes shit breaks. You make an honest mistake. I've been doing my car and I break. Make a mistake. Make a mistake. A human mistake. I go through a fucking radiator with something that I slip, and I have to go eat that. I have to go buy a new radiator and install it. Okay, you go. You got a brand new radiator out of the deal, and that eats my profit. And I still have to, go home and eat it. That's what we go through. And plus, we're, all this shit you see on us, this is cancer causing. You can wear gloves. But some of it's gonna get on you. You can't, like, you're supposed to wear long sleeves, can get caught on something and you can lose an arm or something. You can get killed, something falls on you. Our backs or our bodies get beat up from being in contorted positions and nag, crank like that under a dash 6 hours. So think twice. Think twice before you think 3 times before you all of a sudden become an instant expert on auto repair. And try to call your mechanic a crook or a thief or something. They're just not going to answer your phone anymore. And then you're going to be stuck with going to Firestone and getting, or some other shop getting, like my buddy just the other day, you got charged $2,000 for a drive shaft on a 22-year-old truck. $2,000 for a drive shaft, buddy. Yeah, man. Now you want to talk about getting ripped off? That's a good one. So think again. Thank your mechanics.